Hi, everyone. Hope everyone had a great weekend and are ready to come back for week three. So, before we jump into it, I just wanted to thank you guys for our first couple weeks. I know that it was a lot of back and forth, a lot of different things that we were using. And now that there's no more K 12, I think it seems that we have a pretty good system in place. Again, with this virtual learning, it's all about being patient and being fluid and being able to, I guess, go with the flow because things are always changing. But for now, it seems like this is what is going to work and what we're going to be doing. And that is using Microsoft Teams as well as Zoom. Our schedule will not be changing as far as our Zoom live sessions, and our subjects are going to all stay the same. Our Zoom links are going to all be the same, and the way to communicate with us is still also all the same. So I just wanted to go over some things that are new, and you may know how to access all of this from last year. So if so, it's just a refresher. If not, it's super important that you watch this with your child so that they also know and are ready to go for week three. So some things we're going to talk about are our schedule with Zoom and using Microsoft Teams. I'm going to touch upon Think Central, which is what we're going to be using for math, and then also talk a little bit about our plan for iReady testing. So every day first grade starts at 8:20 and second grade starts at 8:35. So a couple minutes before their start time, your child should log into the portal and they're going to access Microsoft Teams. Now, I personally like the app. It should be down here. I'm not sure why it didn't pop up, but I like downloading the app. So if you have an iPad, it's really easy to download on a Mac. You can get the app too. The Google Play Store, they should have it anywhere, just so that it's easily accessible, always on your desktop. Just make sure when you get the app, you log in with your child's with their Dade Schools email address. And sometimes it's their ID number at dadeschools.net, and sometimes it's their ID number at students.dadeschools.net. So you have to play around with it. But if you don't have the app, this is the way you would access it. You're on the student portal, go to Office 365, and then you're going to click on the Microsoft Teams logo, which is purple over here, blue, purple. And then it's going to take you to your teams. Now, your child will have all of their subjects on there. Now, for my class, let's wait for it to pop up. It's going to look something like this. Now, these are my teams. Your child will have different ones. They'll have music, they'll have PE. Every subject is different. But for me, Miss Rodriguez, the most important ones, I have their little logos, they won't change. So if they're my first grade class, have them remember the microscope. If they're in my second grade morning homeroom, have them remember the science speakers. And then if they're in my PM, my afternoon class, have them remember the globe. So that's super important. And I'll talk to them about it too when we meet tomorrow on Zoom. So they'll go to their team every morning. It's super important that you do it every morning before class, because or during class is fine too, during our morning meeting if they get on there, because this is where I have all of the daily agenda. So I have the schedule along with their independent work. Now I'm going to be posting it every day. I'm not going to be sending out their assignments in a weekly format because things are always changing. I want to have it daily so they know what they're doing that day and not worry about looking ahead. So every day I'm going to have the announcement right here on the general tab. So this is what the team looks like, and I have three tabs. The first one is general, and that's the most important one. Here's where you'll have your assignment for the day. So as you can see, I have our morning meeting on Zoom. I'm going to add my link here, my Zoom link here, so it's all in one place so they can just click it and be on there, okay? Now remember, once you're in my Zoom, don't exit until 11:05 when you're ready to go to Miss Nikolai's class. What I do is if it's independent work time, I'll just put you into the waiting room. That way there's no logging in and out. You just log in once and you're there, or click the link. And then here you'll see your independent work. Now, I'm going to say it in class too. Towards the end of our time together, I'll say, okay, now your independent work will be lesson 1.1 or lesson 1.2. But it's also here written down for you in the general tab on Microsoft Teams. As well as for Spanish independent work too. Draw pictures to match vocabulary words. That's done in your notebook. And then as well as science. Science tomorrow are going to be 2 games. Okay. Now, Spanish is mostly done in your notebook, unless it's a Flipgrid, which is going to be another video I'm going to send out to you guys so you know how to access Flipgrid. You might know from last year. But those are really only the 2 things that you'll be using for Spanish, just in your notebook and your Flipgrid. Oh, and PowerPoint. I'm sorry, also PowerPoint. For science, I'm going to have different links on here. And then we're going to be using later on next week the science textbook, which I will also make a video about how to access that. Okay. Now, this is what I really wanted to talk about. For math, we're going to be using Think Central. Think Central is already part of your student portal. It's really easy to access, so I'm going to show you now. So all your lessons and even some of your tests are going to be done on Think Central. So for Monday, this is for first grade, you have lesson 1.1 and 1.2 done on Think Central. The way that you get to it is when you're on your student portal, you go down to your schedule. Here's your schedule. You're going to look for mathematics, look for my name, and you're going to click on the little book next to it. That's going to take you to Think Central. Let it load. Once you're there, you're going to have things to do, my library, my scores. You're going to click on things to do. And this is where you'll see your assignments. Every day, your new assignments will pop up. Okay. So Monday, first grade is to do lesson 1.1 and 1.2. You must do both of them. I put the due dates. I gave you about a week or so to do them. Not because I want you to take a week to do them, but just in case, things happen. And so I want to give you enough time. But you should be doing them right after our math lesson. Okay. Now, for second grade, since you have your independent work first and then your live math lesson, you're going to get on Think Central first, and you'll see it on your Microsoft Teams schedule. Yours looks a little bit different. So you'll know the order of the day. I'm not done typing it up. See, at 8:50, you do your math independent work. Now, for second grade, you have lesson 1.1, which is going to be an interactive lesson. So they're going to teach it to you. And then you're going to have lesson 1.1 practice. So you're going to have 2 every day. Sometimes you have a few more because we do more than 1 lesson a day. So for second grade, you're going to have a lesson 1.1 and a lesson 1.1 practice. Okay. And then when we come together, we're going to, do a little bit more with our lesson. First grade, since we have our lesson first, your assignments are just the practice. Okay. So that's how you access Think Central. Now, you have other things that you can get to on Think Central. And that's if you ever have time, maybe you finished your things to do, your assignments, and you have extra time before our next Zoom session, you can go to my library. And here you have a lot of great resources that you can use. One of my favorites are the animated math models. Oh, sometimes it has you do that. Animated math models, which second grade, we're going to be doing some of these. I'm going to be assigning some of these to you, but first grade, you can do these on your own, and they're in order of what we're going to be doing in class. So this is always, you can do it on your own. You can do Mega Math, has lots of games for different skills, counting. So there's a lot of extras. If you finish your independent work and you still have extra time, you can access your library. Another good one I like are the iTools. And there you'll have counters, base 10 blocks, number lines, a lot of things to help you with your work. If you need help and you want to use actual tools, you can use interactive ones. Another thing we have is your textbook. So you can access your whole entire textbook online. We're going to be doing a lot of the pages together in class. So you don't need to be doing work in here. This is just extra if you want to explore the textbook, you have it there too. Okay, so the most important thing for math is you go to things to do and you'll have your assignments there. And your assignments are listed on your Microsoft Teams, your announcement for the day. Every day, check your announcements. Okay. So that's pretty much it for me. I'm going to be using Zoom and Microsoft Teams, and I know Miss Nikolai as well. Oh, and in our Teams, we have 3 channels. General, which is where I will be posting the daily schedule. You cannot write on this. Only the teacher can post on this one, so you can't reply to me here, okay? Then I have questions for Miss Rodriguez. Here is where if you're working independently and you have a question and you want to reach out to me, you can go ahead and start a conversation and you can type up, "Hi, Miss Rodriguez, I need some help with number whatever." And I'll type back to you or I'll let you back into the Zoom and we will discuss one-on-one. So it's so important that in this tab, you keep it only for questions related to your work, okay? Um, you can send me a little message like hi and stuff like that is fine, but it's not to be talking to one another. It's only for questions for Miss Rodriguez. That brings me to the next one, class chat. Now, this is the tab, this is the chat that is open for you guys to talk to each other, to talk to your friends, to talk to your classmates. Now, the number one rule, and I have it written here in the description, I'm not sure where it pops up, is we're using kind words. So we're being respectful of each other. We're using kind words. We're saying nice things. And here you guys can chat with each other. Just like if we were at school, you guys have time to talk to each other. We have the same thing virtually so that when we do come back to the classroom, you guys kind of know each other a little bit more and you have that relationship. Now, if and I'm going to be monitoring the chat. And if I see that we're not using kind words, I'm going to have to end it and we won't have a class chat. So I hope you guys make the right choices and you're using kind words and being respectful in our class chat. So these are the 3 things you'll see. We won't have too many assignments on Microsoft Teams. And if we do, I'll definitely let parents know. Most of them, we're keeping them on Think Central. And pretty much that's it for Math Think Central. And I'll let you guys know for science what we'll be using later on. And for Spanish, mostly PowerPoint and any forms that I make. And I send a link in the Teams. Lastly, sorry, I know I'm rambling, but there's a lot to get through. Lastly, iReady testing. So we are going to be iReady testing starting this week. I'm going to start on Tuesday, just so that we have a regular Monday and we settle in. But starting Tuesday, I'm going to be iReady testing for math. And the way that I'm going to do it is I'll have during math time, I'm not going to be testing since I have first and second grade during that math block. It's a little bit difficult and I don't want to take away from that instruction. So what we're going to do is during our Spanish and science blocks, and it'll say here on our Teams, okay, I will specify, but during some of our science and Spanish blocks throughout the week, you will have no Zoom. You will just have independent work while I test a small group of students on iReady. So iReady test must be done with the teacher proctoring it. So they want us to be on Zoom with the students while they take their iReady test. So we're going to do it with a smaller group of students. So maybe I'm going to start with about 7, maybe 10 at a time, just so that it's not so many, while the rest of the students are doing their Spanish independent work. Or it might be during science. Now, obviously, this is Monday. I don't say anything about iReady testing so you know that there's no iReady testing happening this day. But Tuesday, I'm going to write during the Spanish block, I'm going to say, I will be iReady testing with, and I'll make a list, and I'll say the rest of the students will do their independent work. Now, you're still going to get on Zoom at this time, everybody, so I can say it to everyone. I could say, okay, guys, you're going to go ahead and do your Spanish independent work. I'm going to work with so and so on their iReady test. Okay. Now, it's so important during the iReady diagnostic, and this is why they want us to proctor it through Zoom, that parents are not helping their students. Why? Because we want an honest, a score that really shows what they know, and we want to be able to help them in things that they're struggling with. So that's why we are going to be doing it through Zoom. And another important thing is that they have headphones. So for iReady testing, since we'll be on Zoom, um, everyone will be on mute. But in the occasion that they have a question, it's better if they have their headphones in case their iReady is talking in the background, and I don't want other students to hear. So yes, that's it. So sorry this was really long. I just wanted to make sure we're ready for next week using Microsoft Teams and Zoom. So remember, in the morning, get onto your Teams, or if you're in my class in the afternoon, get onto my team. And then same Zoom schedule, same mostly our subject schedule, and same for your specials. Okay, guys, hope you have a great Sunday. See you tomorrow.